here at Coast Life. Happy Tuesday. Well, kind of happy with the weather.
Yeah, we've been sort of in dreary mode. Although for me, I love sitting in the 60s.
Definitely. We love sitting with you on Coast Life. Hey, we're your hosts. I'm Paige Marley.
I'm Leah Rizzo, and yes, I have been enjoying the cooler temps, but we do always enjoy diving into Coast Life for you as well. If you've never joined us before, basically this is where we kind of tell you all the cool places to hang out, introduce you to really cool people that live on Delmarva's coast, and we really just have a good time.
That's right. We're here for an hour, so we're going to talk to you for a little bit. We're going to send you to some cool places on the Delmarva coast. We have a lot to get to this hour.
We do. So we also like to start the show off just by kind of talking about what you're talking about, maybe give you something to bring to work with you tomorrow. And we're talking about today some things that maybe social media makes you think are really popular, but in reality, like maybe you've never met somebody who does these things. Like I think a lot of times, let's take it back to planking maybe, shall we? Remember that? Like, it was everywhere online, but I don't think I ever saw anybody doing it in real life.
No, that's a really good point. And today I think I see or I hear a lot about influencers that I actually don't ever get on my like For You page, for example, on TikTok. And they're like, well, so-and-so does this. I'm like, who? So I think kind of that hype and giving hype is something I haven't always given into, if that makes sense. Yeah. But I am guilty of giving into a lot of the skincare routines. Yeah. Apparently, I have been like so worried that I need to be oiling my hair.
Oh,
I know, because it's been so big on TikTok right now.
So the thing is, you can never do it right when there's all those kinds of trends, because as soon as everybody buys the things that they need for it, then all of a sudden the trend will change and they're like, actually, you should never oil your hair. Get rid of all the things you just bought and buy this instead. And I think like with skincare routines, like I do think having certain ingredients in your skincare is important, but I don't think having a 12-step skincare routine is entirely necessary.
I agree.
And it changes, you know, as you get older, wherever your skin is in your life, maybe like, and different skin textures will require different skin needs, and that's why dermatologists have jobs, not TikTokers.
That's a very good point. The one thing I have not given into yet, which I think I'm proud of, is I've not given into the powdered greens. Those are all over TikTok. The powdered greens I have not given into, and I think I'm not going to.
But I mean, I just tried to, and obviously this kind of ebbs and flows too, where like I think so much healthcare can come from the food we eat, the things we consume. So like it's important to work those kinds of greens, broccoli into your meals, asparagus into your meals. It's not that hard.
Ooh, I'm having asparagus for dinner tonight.
There you go.
I'm really excited.
I think I have asparagus sitting in the bottom of that crisper drawer, and it's been there for a little while, so maybe not that asparagus, but
we all have that one drawer.
See, it ebbs and flows.
Exactly. We're not the clean girl aesthetic girlies we try to be, but I just haven't given in.
No, but it might be easier to achieve those things if you win the lottery.
Girl. Do we all think we can win it? Because every
Did you buy your ticket?
Not yet. But every time it gets to this point, I'm like, I have a chance.
I know. And it's, sitting at $835 million?
Something like that. And if you cash out, it's going to be over $300 million that you'll bring home, which I think it's like taxed again. Whatever, though. I mean,
it ain't bad.
I'll take $20. If someone gives me $20, I'm not going to turn it down. So any amount of money. I know we've talked before about the, like, what are you going to do right away?
Yeah.
But what are you going to do right away, work-wise? You know what I mean? You coming in the next day and you're going to tell me you won?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. I'm coming in the next day. I'm telling you I won.
Okay.
But I think I would probably, I could sort of see myself. We've talked to so many incredible business owners in this area that honestly, I feel like that's something I might want to do.
I love that for you, definitely.
And I think be like a little boutique owner. I've got it all planned out.
I would still want to work.
Yeah, I think I would still want to work, but I think if I had the kind of money that like you could properly invest your own money into a business, like maybe that's what I would do with those lottery winnings. And that way, like, if it doesn't work out, you're not hurting for money, or like you have your own resources, you don't have to take out another loan.
Yeah, I think the big topic of conversation is like, hey, what are you going to do with it? We were talking earlier though about what would you not do with it, because you see so many people who just blow it, or you hear these horror stories. So it's like, I'm not going to go to a strip club.
Yeah, I'm not going to blow the money on like one-time expenses.
Right. That's what I should have said. But you know what I mean? Yeah, like it's going to go into long-term, my kids, my family, making sure I can just ride out this life and be chill.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe I would look at a house as like my big purchase. Treat myself, get a little more space, like a little something that you can kind of call your own, maybe a little more yard space.
Yeah, I'd get my coffee out each day instead of making it at home.
There you go.
Yeah,
the little luxuries. Exactly. That's what we're investing in.
We're simple girls.
Yeah. But another thing that we love on Coast Life, not just the Powerball, is movies.
We do talk a lot about movies, especially when we're like not up here shooting.
Yes.
We all do talk a lot about them.
Oh, well, and I think our whole team is really big. Like, we get into our fan bases.
Yes.
And with a lot of love for movies and film, I think also comes a lot of criticism of movies and film as well. So maybe there's a certain cliche that you see popping up in movies over and over and over again. And you're just like, oh, I hate it.
What's yours?
I hate the miscommunication cliche where like maybe you've got the couple in the rom-com and they miscommunicate with one another and she's like, I saw you with another woman, and he's like, that was my cousin, and then they're like, oh no, and and then it works out where it's like, if you just communicated, you never would have had to have the drama in the first place.
Preach it, Leah. Because it's like, at that point, you guys actually aren't meant together. It's like the end of the movie, I'm not rooting for you because you have terrible communication.
I mean, it's probably one of the more believable plot holes, but at the same time, like, it drives me crazy because it's such a simple fix.
100%. Mine's gonna be a little controversial, but hear me out before you get all Paige. Just hear me out for a second. I don't like when movies are overly feminist. All right. Paige. I know.
Paige.
Thank you, Leah. I know. But wait. So here's my issue. You have characters as of late where they are so, I don't wear makeup, I'm not like other girls, that they start to belittle the women who do wear makeup and are like other girls. I'm tired of that. Just have a really cool female character and let her do her thing and ride it out.
Well, and I actually think that was one of my favorite things about Wonder Woman. And I've talked about this before, that like I think a lot of people who didn't like it, or they're like, oh, it was too whatever, too this, too that. And I was like, no, what I really loved about her was that, of course, she's this like strong Amazon warrior, that's her thing, but how she fights, and she fights with love, and she and like her desire to protect people, and she's allowed to be feminine, and she's like, oh, a baby, oh, ice cream, like she's adorable,
and she's strong, and wears lipstick,
and she's this incredible warrior. So I'm like, your girl can be both.
Yes, I think when you overdo, and this is when you overdo anything, you're taking away from other people. Yeah, you know, I was telling you earlier, I saw this movie trailer. I don't even know which movie it's for because I think it was on my phone. I swiped right past it because it started off, this girl was like, hey, Stacy, that's not her name, I made it up. You going on a date tonight? And she was like, yeah, but he's not gonna like me because I don't wear dresses and I wanna just work tonight. Boring.
Ugh, yeah,
just
very
go on
boring.
your date.
Well, and I think too, like anytime you've got any sort of message that you're trying to get through in a movie, if it's too loud and it overpowers the actual ability to write something to that message, and like it dilutes the whole message you were trying to get across in the first place.
Your Wonder Woman is like my Mulan.
There we go. Yes. Oh yeah, Mulan's a great one.
Yep. She just did her thing and called it a day.
But we've also got a great show coming your way. Coast Life's Maya Henry is going to tell you what's coming up.
Coming up next, join the heartwarming story behind Dave's Dewey dash and his mission to save lives. Protect yourself with another Get Home Safely tip, and dive into the happy place with the Parker Group. All that and more when Coast Life gets back.
Coast Life is brought to you by BB Healthcare, Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning, Preston Automotive Group, Shell Brothers, and
You know, Leah, today even we are still seeing those effects from Ophelia.
Yeah, still some wind, still some rain. I know she ruined a lot of weekend plans for people, but she didn't ruin Kite Fest. Kite Fest actually still was going on.
It did, and of course that wind, it can be great for kites, but maybe you didn't get out to Kite Fest at Ocean City because that wind wasn't great for us.
That's okay. That's why we're here on Coast Life, to maybe recap and include you in events that you didn't get to go to. That's why our field correspondent Maya Henry is checking in with the Kite Loft in Ocean City.
So a lot of times when people come here, they showcase their giant kites. So you'll see lots of giant sea creatures like a blue whale or a unicorn, or you'll see some Disney characters like Donald Duck and so on. Just fun stuff, and these are ginormous kites. It's a fun event meant for the public to come down, fly kites, enjoy kites. We draw from all over the regional area, from DC, from Pennsylvania, New York, as far as Connecticut and Virginia. And people come in, they fly their big kites, fly their sport kites, and just have a good time. And the shop has evolved from being a solo kite store, and now we sell a lot more merchandise. So we sell flags, spinners, toys, just all kinds of unique, fun stuff. And of course, this year we were voted best shop on the boardwalk, so we're real proud of that.
Leah, in years past, before, of course, the crazy weather this weekend, I've been there, I've been to Kite Fest, at Kite Loft, and I never knew how relaxing it is to fly a kite.
Yeah, you said you almost like went into a meditative state.
Honestly, I kind of get it. They let me hang on to one of those big ones, and I could have stayed there all day. So really go check out Kite Loft. It's just a blast.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yes.
But we've got some more Coast Life coming your way. Coming up on the show, we're going to sit down and talk to Laura Ashby. So if you like running, if you like playing golf, we got a couple of events coming up that are really for an important cause. So we'll get to that when Coast Life gets back. All right, Coast Life, one thing that you will definitely notice for sure when living along Delmarva's coast is how this community comes together for some really incredible causes. Here to tell us about some causes that you can participate in that are really important, and also to tell us a little bit more about why you might want to participate in these causes is Laura Ashby, joining us on the Coast Life couch today. How are you?
Very good. Thank you so much.
We're so glad to have you back in the studio. Now, the first time you were here, you sort of introduced us to the tragic story of the loss of your son, Dave. Tell us a little bit about who he was, because he just was such a special person.
Right. Well, thank you. Yeah, Dave passed away from a sudden cardiac arrest at age 28. He was a construction manager, and he was about to go to work the next day. Came home from work, just laid on the couch, crossed his legs, folded his arms, fell asleep, and didn't wake up. We knew that he had a regular heartbeat, and but we never knew that there was a risk of sudden cardiac death with an irregular heartbeat, and so that's what I want everyone to know. Yeah. So we're doing several events to try to highlight that and raise awareness and raise money to purchase AED machines to distribute throughout the beach community. Dave was a great guy. I know your question was, tell me about Dave. He was the life of the party. He was funny, did great impressions. His birthday was Halloween, so he dressed up like Will Ferrell since he was around 16 or so, and had plenty of material there. The Anchor Man and Ricky Bobby and all of that. So he really enjoyed having a Halloween birthday. But he had a very serious side too, and he was a deep contemplative thinker, and we could spend hours talking, and I think not as many of his friends know that side, but a number of them do, and they also appreciated the long talks with Dave.
Yeah, I'm sure they did, and I'm sure he would love what you're doing in his memory to help others in the community who may, have an irregular heartbeat, and they might not know how serious that could end up for somebody. So tell us a little bit about these machines, what they do, and why they're so important to have all throughout our beach community.
Right. So they're AEDs. It's an automatic external defibrillator. So if a person does have a sudden cardiac arrest, their heart stops. If someone's available to do CPR, they can help to prolong the life. But an AED machine is a very important element. So it shocks the heart back to a normal rhythm. Yeah. If an individual who's experiencing a sudden cardiac arrest doesn't have an AED, excuse me, the chance for every minute that it's not administered, their chance of survival drops by 10%.
And are these something that civilians can use
Yes.
in the event of an emergency?
Yes. So, and we spoke about it last time. Delaware has Good Samaritan laws that enable anybody to use this machine, and the machine actually speaks to you and gives you directions and tells you step by step how to administer it. Yeah. And also, in some of the AEDs that we're going to be donating this year, they'll have actual automatic link to the police, so that help will be on the way as soon as you
don't even have to call 911 to take up time. You can just jump right into life-saving assistance.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
it really is. So you have a couple of events coming up to help raise money to purchase these machines. Tell us about these events that people can participate in and help get involved, because this, I mean, this is really, really important.
Yeah, I'm really, again, appreciative to have you have me give this message, because I really do want as many people as possible to participate in both events. The first one is on Friday, the 29th of September, at 9 a.m. There's a golf outing at Jonathan's Landing Golf Course in Magnolia, Delaware. It's a 9 o'clock shotgun start, and there's lots of giveaways, prizes. There's breakfast and a barbecue lunch. Beverages are being donated by Tri-State Liquors. Nice. So it's going to be a very nice event.
Yes, and I know we have a lot of golfers on Delmarva, and you might as well golf for a good cause, right?
Yeah, it's really going to be a nice event.
We also have a lot of runners on Delmarva. So tell me a little bit about Dave's Dewey Dash coming up.
So my niece came up with that name. I think it was a real appropriate one.
Yeah.
Dave lived in Dewey. He was a homeowner there, so that's why it's in Dewey. It's again, it's at the Rusty Rudder, third year there. They're providing the venue and the food for the after party. NKS Distributors is providing the drinks afterwards. But it's 8 a.m. registration, 9 o'clock start. You can participate in person or virtually.
Very cool.
Which is really nice. Or you could just come and learn more about it.
Thank you so much once again for coming in and telling us about these wonderful events that I know you want to participate in. Again, I know we got a lot of golfers, a lot of runners on Delmarva. You might as well get your steps in while also participating in some really, really wonderful causes.
Can I just say one more thing?
Please do.
That I didn't mention that I'm partnering with Races to Run.
Yes.
So that's where you would find it. If you wanted to register, you'd go to the Races to Run website, look for beach races, and Dave's Dewey Dash is the third annual race is on there.
And we will have some info for you as well on coastlife.com if you are looking to register for this race, because it's going to be, again, a really, really wonderful event. But we've got more stuff to tell you about when Coast Life gets back, so don't go anywhere.
Leah, a few weeks ago, we learned something really important.
Yes.
We learned about run, hide, fight with Seaside Krav Maga and Lewis.
Yes, and I mean, what we love about going there is that it really does increase. I mean, every time you talk to them, they always reemphasize how important self-awareness is and situational awareness is when you're navigating through. I mean, it finally took, and I went somewhere at night to go grab something last minute, and I was like, ooh, park under the street light.
Boom. Love that for you.
Yeah.
Did you walk back with your keys between your hands?
Yeah, I was ready, and I remember I got in, I closed the door really fast, locked it, put my bags down. So it takes a while, but eventually all the things that they keep telling us start to click.
That's right. One thing though, because you're gonna go somewhere, right? If it's not tonight, it's gonna be tomorrow. A store, maybe you're going to school, even work. We're not meaning to scare you, we're meaning to prepare you. Run, hide, fight is helpful if something happens at any of these locations.
Yes.
So here is Ted and Chris with Seaside Krav Maga and Lewis telling us about run, hide, fight.
It's pretty much what it says. Run if you can, hide if you can't run, and then fight if you have to. Fighting would be the last thing that you would want to have to do, so if you can get yourself out of that situation to a safe haven by running, then do it. If you're trapped in an area where you can't escape, then you're going to have to find a place where it could hide you. We call it cover or concealment. So there's a difference between, if you're hiding, cover and concealment. Cover is something that's going to protect you from maybe bullets coming through. Concealment is just something that's going to hide you from a bad guy, and might not necessarily protect you if there's shooting happening.
It can be true in any situation. Fighting, and you come to our school, you'll find we want to de-escalate. I don't want to fight. The best fight is the one you don't get in. If I can run and it's over, I'm happy with that. If I can hide so I'm not a victim because they can't find me, I'm good with that. Once it gets to fight, I'm too close. I don't have a place to go. I don't have an out. I'm in an elevator and somebody comes in. At that point, you fight. But when you fight, you fight. I've heard you fight like you're the third monkey getting onto the ark and it started to rain really hard. You fight like you don't have a choice. If you don't do well, you're not going home. You've got to be 100% into it, and you need to know how to fight. What are the targets? What are the body parts I can use?
We always say, fight and never stop, So sometimes people have a hard time with that because that's violence, right? We're teaching you how to strike certain areas on the body that are going to cause an injury that will enable you to then get home safely.
This segment of Coast Life was brought to you by Seaside Krav Maga.
Leah, you ever feel old?
Yes, every day.
Every day, right? So if you're a mom, maybe you feel a little, not old, but behind the times. And that's okay. We all feel that way.
Yeah, well, I think is when you're a parent and you've got little kids, suddenly that's your whole life is all the shows that your kids are watching. You're talking to your kids all day. Like you don't really keep up with adults.
Yeah.
And then as like those teenage years, like the generation in charge of deciding what's cool, what's in, you're kind of missing out on that because you're used to dealing with, Paw Patrol.
Exactly that. So we're going to talk about our Mom Moments segment. We love doing this each week where we just let you moms out there know that we feel you, and you're not alone, and other moms can relate to you.
And this one's actually also kind of for the dads, too.
I love this.
Because I feel like sometimes it starts on purpose with the dads, these moments, where, like, you start not embarrassing your kids to hurt their feelings, but just, there's just something that's a little fun about
Stirring the
fun.
pot.
Yeah, just stirring the pot a little bit. And, when, dad jokes.
Boom, exactly.
This is in the same vein as dad jokes, and it's actually a member of our camera crew that is coming in with this mom moment where or dad moment.
Yeah.
Because he was out to dinner with his kids.
Something.
And just started saying things like, no cap, bussin', in all the wrong ways, in all the wrong times. And the kids were in pain about it, going Dad, no, don't say that.
Amazing.
Amazing,
I
right?
just know parents out here right now are I do that, where you hear the cool, trendy thing, and you're like, hey, kids, hey, yo, what's up? What's poppin'?
I really, really felt that way. It's so funny because, I, during the pandemic, got on TikTok, and so I'm reading all the slang in the comments. I can put it in context. I know what everything means, but I've never used it, said it, or heard it, in person. And then we started Coast Life, and our field correspondent, Maya Henry, had started dropping a couple there, here and there, and she was like, oh yeah, bet. And I was like, it's happening.
Because she's younger and cooler than us.
Right, and it's natural for her to use, slang that her friends are using.
Right.
And so it just was so funny to me because I was none of my peers have ever said bet, no cap, or bussin', and anybody from my high school days. So I'm it's happening.
And here's the
and I
difference.
just know if I said it, she would be like, oh God, don't say that.
Because the difference is you can tell when it's natural and you can tell when a parent says it. So here's our challenge for you on our mom moments / dad moments today. If you're making your kid dinner tonight, they came in from school, just please, and maybe record it and send it to us.
Please do.
Please, just be like, here, Timmy, here's your dinner. It's bussin'. And just leave it at that. Don't laugh.
Or just
right
when everybody sits down, you guys start taking, you start eating your food, and then dinner is bussin'.
Yeah.
Please, yes, record it.
Or if they get off the school bus, go, hey, yo, when they get off, and see what they do. Please make a video of it. And honestly, this is us standing up for you moms, because you're going to be the one embarrassing your kids. They're not going to be embarrassing you this time.
It's true.
We love it.
And we want to see it. And if you do, record it and send it to us. We want to share it too.
Please.
Because I think it's worth it.
It is worth it. So let us know, and if you feel a little out of the times, that's what Mom Moments is here for. You are not behind the times. You're doing great, and give it back to your kids a little bit today.
Even if you're the office mom, you can try it too.
Exactly.
See what happens.
If you work with a lot of Gen Zers.
And send us your mom moments,
team@coastlife.com.
But don't go anywhere just yet, or maybe email us while we take a quick break, because coming up next on Coast Life, we're talking with the Parker Group. We're going to talk about the real estate market and maybe introduce you to your new happy place. All that and more is on the way with more Coast Life. Paige, do you ever find that maybe you have trouble falling asleep at night, staying asleep at night? Maybe you wake up and your back hurts a little bit.
I've gotten there, yeah, and my neck.
Yeah, well, maybe it could be time to look at getting a new mattress.
That's fair.
And a great place to look for mattresses, furniture, and more. Johnny Gnostic, they've got like 1 billion locations.
Yes, they really do, and so much inside that store.
A lot inside that store. That's actually our bed is from Johnny Gnostic. Their sales team, great. They will make sure that you're walking away with a bed that you're happy with. They also deliver furniture, which is even better, so you don't have to worry about picking it up and trying to get it through the door yourself. They'll help you with all of that.
It's too hard.
And we could keep telling you about it, but Katie Zarilli from our sister show Delmarva Life is going to do it with style.
From 1953 to 2023, Johnny Gnostic World of Furniture is celebrating 70 years of serving Delmarva.
It is really nice to know that people know the name. Even if they don't know the person, they still know the name. And it still carries a good reputation with it, and which makes me proud.
And owner Lori Gnostic Morrison says her late father Johnny would share the same sentiment.
I was just thinking about that last night. What would he think if he walked in here now? He would just go bonkers. He loves business. He would love to see, the employees that are still here.
A Virginia native, Johnny Gnostic fell in love with Laurel and began his business as a television repair shop. Lori says it was her mother Mary's idea to start selling furniture too. So they did that and moved from downtown to Route 13.
So he found a chicken house out here and they just remodeled it and decided to go with furniture. So we carried appliances, TVs, and furniture.
You heard that right, a chicken house.
My dad will get an idea or see something unusual and go with it. He was a real go-getter, inventor, an entrepreneur. He saw something that had possibilities, and that's where he'd always take it. Yeah, and my mom was right in there with him.
As a matter of fact, this might look familiar.
Filled with chicks, but not anymore. Now it's filled with Whirlpool appliances, RCA TV sets, and the finest furniture. Where else would you want to buy?
Johnny Gnostic.
That was the first commercial when he opened the chicken house. We are the longest store on the shore with the shortest prices. He was famous for that.
They upgraded to this beautiful building in 2006, the largest of their 7 retail stores in Delaware.
So it's 4 football fields. It takes time to come through and look around, but that's what we want them to do. We want them to be able to have that selection, and we're here to help them. And then across the parking lot, we have our outlet store, and we are famous for our yard sales. Every year we have a yard sale, and what was nice about our outlet store is now we can have a yard sale every day. So all of those items that we would save up and offer to the public once a year are now filtered through our outlet store, and we just added an outlet store in our Dover location. So the clients don't have to wait. They can shop every day to see what's new, and there's always new inventory coming into those locations. In addition, we have our distribution center here in Laurel, Delaware, and our trucks travel to the Wilmington location. They drop off loads up there to our depot, and then they deliver to Philadelphia, Westchester, all up into the New Jersey area. And then also we have a separate outdoor location here where it's outdoor furniture, and you can walk in and you feel like you're in the Bahamas because it's gorgeous and beautiful over there.
Vice President of Sales Debbie Quillen says this company's growth and expansion over the years hasn't been about self, but service.
When we decided to get bigger, whether it was by accident or because we wanted to, it was all about selection and value for the customer.
And a number of those customers are coming from the coast. Debbie says they offer more than 100 brands of furniture and have access to even more. Plus, they're knowledgeable about all of it.
We spend a lot of time educating our team so that they can educate the client so that the client can make the best decision for them. And that's important to us because we want to make sure it's the right item for them.
And the service here stands out. It has since the beginning.
I can remember one time where Johnny had a customer come in, and back then we delivered TVs, which we no longer do, but He told the customer, look, I can't bring it to you right now. Here's the keys to my truck. Go ahead and take it. Just bring back my blankets.
Another section of that service is giving back. Johnny Janosic lends a hand in the community in numerous ways, one of the biggest being offering scholarships for local seniors.
Well, I think that he had to work so hard to put himself through school and wanted to finish college, wanted to finish high school, that he just wants to help somebody else who maybe couldn't afford to do that.
Johnny Janosic is also actively helping out the Boys and Girls Club, Habitat for Humanity, local hospitals, and other area efforts.
My dad would say, you know, money is only as good as what you do with it. And he wanted to do something good.
Safe to say, he did. Johnny Janosic has also made the list of top 100 furniture stores in the U.S. for years now. And while an accolade like that can make any company proud, those behind Johnny Janosic care about so much more.
I believe that the name Johnny Janosic, and I hope, stands for good service, integrity, getting a good deal, and being fair. Because that is something he strived on, is being fair, treating people, with kindness and respect. And I'm hoping that people still feel that enthusiasm and trustworthiness when they hear his name today, that he did something in the community.
So whether it's the furniture, the family, or both, this business has most certainly left its mark on Delmarva forever. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Katie. And you know, tomorrow is actually a great day to check out Johnny Janosic because they got a great sale going up to 70% off.
Yeah, and clearance is on sale too. This is Wednesday only, so get out your phone, open up your calendar app, put it in a reminder, whatever you have to do.
Yeah, because you'll want to get there, especially if you're already, you've been thinking about it. Oh, we need a new couch, we need a new chair, we need a new bed. Then now's the time. Tomorrow will be the time to go check it out.
Yeah. So tonight, get with your significant other, plan whatever you got to plan, your budget. Throw the budget out the window, actually. And then you can go in tomorrow with a plan because it's tomorrow only.
Yes, and they'll help you cultivate that plan as well to make sure you're walking away a happy customer. Yep. We've got more Coast Life coming your way, so stay right there because you're not going to want to miss it. Are you thinking about buying a house? How about selling a house? I'm sure either way, you've got a lot of questions. And here to help answer some of those questions are our favorite real estate experts, the Parker Group. Rachel and Dustin Parker, welcome back to the Coast Life Couch.
Thank you.
So let's talk about the real estate market as a whole. I think it's sort of one of those big, scary concepts that you think maybe you know a lot about, but turns out not so much. It might be a little bit more complicated than you think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the last couple of years have been kind of a wild ride in real estate. Obviously, with COVID, things kind of shut down for a couple months, and then they took off like a rocket. And now we're seeing a very different market than we saw even just a year ago. And so right now, we still are low in inventory, meaning there's just not enough houses to sell. But the big difference from a year or two ago is the interest rates, which have really jumped significantly since that time.
Cool. So when you hear something like the interest rates have jumped, is that a good thing or a bad thing for buyers or sellers? Does it depend on which side you're standing on?
Yeah, it makes the market a little bit more challenging, really for both parties, because for buyers, their buying power likely has been decreased a little bit. Because with higher mortgage rates, obviously they may not be able to afford quite as much house. For sellers, that makes the buyer pool a little bit smaller because we have less buyers that are able to purchase those homes. But what we think is that most experts believe that coming in 2024, there are going to be some dips in interest rate. And a lot of people are sitting on the fence kind of thinking we're going to wait until that time before we make a move. The problem is when that happens, everybody's going to rush the market probably and do the same thing.
Yeah, so kind of what is the best move from where you guys are sitting at this time right now?
We always say that really the best time to buy a house is when it's the best time for you personally. Sometimes trying to time the market is just a losing game. Like Dustin said, there are a lot of sellers right now that they're sitting on a 3% interest rate, but at the end of the day, if your life circumstances dictate that it's the right time to make a move, maybe you've had a baby or your kids have moved out, Really, there are still good deals out there, and you just need to think about your own personal financial situation, sit down with a qualified lender, and make your decision based off of that. Because like Dustin said, if everybody's timing the market, then you run into a different problem when all those buyers jump back in the market and we're back in a situation where there's 10 offers on every house and you're competing against cash, or homes are selling for way over the asking price. So, it's just different markets bring different struggles and benefits.
Sure. And it's certainly the battle that I know my peers have seen. I mean, when we were in high school in 2008, and so we lived through every crash and rise and market, and now we're finally like, okay, we're ready, and the market's just not agreeing with us. But that's also where, groups like the Parker Group come in. You can guide people when it's the right time for them, even if it's not necessarily the right time for the market per se.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's always the right time for the person based on their circumstance. And the nice thing about real estate is, even in those crazy markets of 2007, 2008, as long as you're not planning to move quickly, real estate's always going to be an appreciating asset. And so for folks that want to invest in, there's really not a bad time to buy. And if interest rates are high now, but they come down later, you can always refinance into a lower rate in the future to save you some money on your monthly.
Yeah, and something a lot of people are talking about right now, which economists are just not predicting, is that home prices are not predicted to come back down. And so even if interest rates do come back down, I think some people think there's going to be a big crash and we'll wait until then to come in. Nobody's really predicting that in the real estate industry. And so that's probably not a bet worth waiting on right now.
Sure, no, I mean, that's a good thing to know, because I know that I have some peers too that were like, all right, we're waiting, we're ready. And then, if it's just not going to happen, then there's no point in waiting for that if you're ready to make a move.
Absolutely, yeah.
Very true. And sort of speaking of making that move, maybe now is the right time for you. You guys like to help people find their happy place.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of our motto, is we serve our community by helping others find their happy place. And I think that that's really part of our culture as a company too. We've got a lot of great people, agents and staff that work with us every day, and our mission really is that. We want to find that happy place for each individual that we serve.
Yeah. That's awesome. And we also want to help you find that happy place. And so we're going to start introducing you to a happy place of the week with the Parker Group. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, we're really excited. We've got a great one coming first, and we think people are going to be really excited about it. But every week we'll have a new happy place for people to take a look at and maybe see if it fits them or somebody they know.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe this week's happy place is the one for you. So we're going to let COASTLIFE's Maya Henry tell you about this week's happy place with the Parker Group.
Paige and Leah, this stunning 1.24-acre ranch home lies in the heart of Bridgeville. Built in 2008, this home is perfect for family visits. With 3 bedrooms, 4 baths, and another 2 half baths, along with a cozy fireplace. Outside the home, you'll find a private in-ground pool, enclosed porch, and a large spacious 2-car garage. And that's this week's Happy Place of the Week, presented by the Parker Group.
This segment of Coast Life was brought to you by the Parker Group.
All right, Leah, have you watched any good movies lately?
It's been a while since I've been out to the movies. I think the Barbie movie was like the last one that I went out to see.
Well, okay, that makes sense. I think same.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw it with you.
Yep.
Have you watched any DVDs?
Ooh, it's been a hot minute since I watched a DVD.
Same. This is something we were talking about earlier. DVDs, obviously, our boy Blockbuster, no longer around, but also, Redbox, things like that. But Netflix also... no longer giving out DVDs.
Yeah, they're sending out the last DVD that they're ever going to send out. Isn't that crazy that that's how Netflix started, was sending out DVDs to people? You would order them, and then you'd have to wait in the mail for your DVD to show up, and then you'd be like, yay, and then you send it back.
It's incredible. I'm obsessed with it, because I think when I first heard of Netflix, I didn't know they did that. Actually, in college, a college professor of mine still did the DVD service.
Oh, that's funny.
But I'm curious if any of our viewers are devastated about this. Do you still get your DVDs from Netflix? Yeah. And are you sad that they're stopping this?
Well, so part of the reason that I haven't watched, I don't watch movies as much as I used to. I mean, growing up, Friday night was movie night. We would go out to dinner, and then we would go to the video store, pick our movie, go home, and then watch that movie, go overboard on snacks and popcorn, and it just movies were such a big part of growing up. And then even into my teenage years, even though we weren't renting movies as much, we were going to the movies all the time. I mean, I used to see, I had no problem rewatching the same movie 3 times with different groups of people, so I could talk about it with 3 different groups of people. And so on the one hand, I kind of wish that we still had video stores, because with streaming services, if you don't have the right one that has that movie, or you don't have, you know, there's like 8 different platforms now, and none of them have the thing that you want, and you don't have the one that has the one you want, and it just like, it's so frustrating. And I do wish sometimes that I'm like, if only there was a store we could go find the movies.
Exactly it. That's why I'm a little bit more understanding of why Netflix is stopping, I think, because who's ordering the DVDs?
Right, they have the streaming service.
Right, but also I don't have a DVD player anymore. I put the DVDs in the Xbox or the PlayStation.
I was gonna say, yeah, the PlayStation.
Whichever one we have.
That's what I got.
One of them that turns on and my fiance spends too much time on. But I'm not bitter.
Well, maybe go find yourself a movie to snuggle up with tonight. It is about